after this, we will give our thoughts on Airbnb after we tell the story. So
okay, so we just got to our hotel room and just got settled down here in London. We've had an interesting day. We just want to tell you about it. We've had a crazy day.
So we started off the day and we were really excited to go to Costco here.
Good morning. Obviously, we really like Costco. We came to London and we're going to Costco.
Costco.
Because we just wanted to see what Costco was like in the UK, and we love Costco in Canada. So we went to Costco to get breakfast stuff and some evening food, that kind of thing, for our next Airbnb, which we were supposed to stay in for the next 3 days, which would be the rest of our trip. And then we got in the car, we were ready to go. We drove an hour back into London, found our directions. It was super easy to get to our first Airbnb, and we pulled up, everything was looking good. And then what happened?
Everything was confirmed that we were staying there. The person renting it to us texted us and said, there's going to be a key in the drop box under the window, and that'll get you into the building. Here's the code to open that little key box to get in. The key was not there, and we're like, what the heck is going on?
It's like a ground floor apartment.
Yeah, from the entrance to the building, the window was right next to it. So then I looked in the window and I could see like a dirty bed, luggage.
Well, the bed wasn't made. Like, it looked like someone had just woken up from sleeping in it.
Somebody was staying there still.
There was a tie sitting on the bedside table. Like, it looked like someone was living there.
So nothing was ready for us.
But we didn't go into the room. We get a text.
And they texted us and told us that somebody was gonna come to the building right now and clean it, but that was a bunch of BS.
They said, wait 40 minutes, we'll buy you coffees, no problem, we're gonna come clean it. We weren't gonna sit around for 40 minutes, we'd already been waiting there, and so this is 3 o'clock, and we all had to go to the bathroom too and everything, and we needed Wi-Fi. I'm the only one with a phone plan here, nobody else had a phone plan to use their phone. So we walked to a cafe, and so then my mom started corresponding over email once she had Wi-Fi with the lady that owned the Airbnb. And basically we found out that they rented that Airbnb to somebody else.
What I think happened was the person that was staying in the Airbnb before us, that was supposed to be out before 11 o'clock today, which is their checkout time, they contacted the people that rented the Airbnb to them and said, I need to stay for longer, I'll pay whatever price. But before he did that, we had already booked it for today, tomorrow, and the next day.
We were gonna pay around 200 a night for it, but then it turns out this person that was staying there was gonna pay about 800 a night. So it seems like the people that own the Airbnb, since they were gonna get more money from the other person, just told the other person, sure, you can have it for a few more nights, not really caring that we had already rented it through the website and that we were supposed to be staying there. And let's keep in mind that we're traveling with my mom and my 2 little brothers, a 7-year-old, a 14-year-old with Down syndrome. We have a 7-month-old baby, and we're also traveling with my grandparents. It's really hard to find a hotel room, especially last minute in London, but to find hotels for that many people is really difficult.
Okay, so once we realized that we were not staying in this Airbnb anymore, we've been waiting for 2 hours to figure this out.
Yeah, so now, well, yeah, it's 5 o'clock now.
Because we went to a coffee shop, because she told us, go to a coffee shop, I'll get the bill, my cleaner's gonna come and clean it. But we waited at the coffee shop for 2 hours, and then she finally told us that we're not getting it, and that she has another Airbnb that she suggested that she would rent to us.
We were renting in the first Airbnb location specifically because it was close to our car rental place, and we had to return the car rental today. And so she wants us to go an hour away, so then that means we'd have to drive an hour and then come back with the car again and then take a subway back to the Airbnb. Like, it just didn't make sense. Plus, we rented in the area we were in to be able to go to all these attractions that are in that area. The area she wanted us to go to didn't have anything that we wanted to see.
We said we're not going to stay at any of their locations because they don't work for us. It was just really inconvenient when we wanted to stay in this specific area because it was convenient for what we're doing for the next 2 days, because we only have 2 days here and we really want to take advantage of every single minute that we have, and we don't want to waste time traveling across town to get to these destinations, tourist attractions. So
plus, there was a few things we were wanting to do tonight that we still would have had time to do.
So we were frustrated. So that takes us to the second part of this story, where we find a different landlord.
Yeah, different Airbnb, totally
different person, not connected.
In the right area that we wanted.
In a really good area that was
place.
Convenient for the tube station, and we were close to the river, It was still an hour away from where we were, but we just thought, okay, this is a totally different person. What are the chances that, you know, anything could happen? Let's just let's start over. Let's get a fresh Airbnb and just enjoy the rest of the night.
So it's about 6 o'clock at this point, though.
It's about 6 o'clock.
So if we get to the Airbnb pretty soon, we were just gonna drop off our bags and then go for dinner.
Yeah,
go to
so
a couple
like
of stores.
by 7:30 we're settled into our new location for the next 3 days.
Yeah, still could do something with our night.
But that's not what happened.
No.
Okay, so this is kind of funny. To add to the whole drama of this entire afternoon, on the way to the second Airbnb, we're in like rush hour traffic. It's like 6 o'clock. Anna's mom really has to pee.
Because she's been so stressed out trying to deal with where we're gonna stay.
She hasn't had a second to look after herself.
She hasn't gone to the bathroom.
She hasn't gone to the
hours.
bathroom. She really has to pee. Like, I'm about to jump out and pee in the street bad. So we're just passing.
It was like in that busy area. There's Big Ben. It's across the river from the London Eye.
One of the busiest streets. Anyways, we made a plan because I looked up on Google Maps where she could go to the bathroom on our way to the second Airbnb. So we stopped at a red light. Anna's mom jumps out. She runs over to the Cafe Nero. We had a roundabout right in front of us.
But Steve had to crawl over the seat to get out of the
I crawled over the seat. I drove this right-hand drive, manual transmission with everybody else in it around a roundabout
and Steve's never
5
driven,
times
but
while
never
Anna's mom pees, and I haven't driven here yet. So Anna's mom runs into pee, and I'm going around this roundabout until she sees us after she's done, and it quickly hops back in the middle of rush hour traffic
in London.
And
she didn't know we were gonna keep driving around this roundabout thing.
And
so we didn't even know. She could have gone the total opposite direction up some other street.
We lucked out with meeting back up with her because I actually thought we were never going to find her. She was going to go down some street that she thought that I was going to park on or go to where we could meet up after.
Yeah.
And I had her phone in the car because we were just using it, but it was just crazy. I thought we were going to be pulled over. I didn't know if I was going to be able to quickly adjust to driving on the wrong side of the road coming from Canada. It was just honestly a nightmare. Nobody died. Yeah. Nobody peed their pants.
Okay, so part 2. We pull up where this Airbnb was. So we start looking around for it. We can't really find it right away. So I stayed in the car with my grandma, with Rhys, our baby, and my little brothers, and my grandpa and Steve and my mom went walking around the neighborhood with Google Maps on my phone to try to find this place. You guys were gone for about an hour.
Are trying to find this address that the Airbnb person gave us. Just as an example, it was 12, let's say it was 12 Smith Street.
Yeah.
We entered 12 Smith Street on Anna's phone, and it takes us to this area where there's like 7 different apartment buildings. None of the apartment buildings have an actual number. Probably 10 different apartment buildings. They don't have numbers on the buildings, they have names.
And we didn't
so
really...
like one building was Haltane building, or Haltane House, and then the next one was like Greenweather House. We literally walked around for 45 minutes until we finally found the building after asking locals, and ended up finally finding this about an hour after we actually got to the area of what it was in, because of a map that was on the side of one of the buildings, one of these 10 buildings that we happened to stumble upon. Oh, and then we're on the phone because the person renting it out to us finally calls us, and then she starts spelling out the building name, and then we look at the map and we find, okay, we know where the building is. So we go to the building and we arrive there and we're like, okay, they're gonna be there, they're gonna be waiting for us, or they're gonna give us our key, we're gonna get in there. The door is locked, there's nobody there, it's dark. I look in the window of this one, and it is messy inside.
I've never heard this
There's
part.
stuff all over the kitchen counter. You're supposed to have these things cleaned and prepped and ready to go hours before anybody arrives. It's literally it's just common knowledge about having an Airbnb and what you do before the people come to it. It's locked, there's no key, there's nobody waiting there. And then some guy shows up and he said that he was painting and he needs to clean up, so we follow him inside. The address they gave us was completely misleading. It did not take us to where we actually needed to be. Hence why it took an hour to actually find the building.
Okay, so what happened when you followed the guy? Yeah.
So we get in there and he's telling us that he's been painting this place for the last day or something. And it's filthy inside. There's garbage all over the place. It looks like somebody slept on the bed. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy was painting it, and he worked for the person renting it, and he would take a nap on this bed while, like, throughout his day because he was painting. I took pictures because we need to prove to Airbnb that this room was not ready for us.
But from my perspective, like, looking at those pictures, it looks like somebody's apartment that they are living in. Like, it just looks like someone's, like, living in there, like, in the middle of cooking dinner right now.
Yes. So, again, we were just, for the second time in a row, on two completely different Airbnb. At this point, we're hungry, we're tired.
We have 3 kids, one's 7 months old.
We have a 7-month-old baby, our baby, a 13-year-old boy with Down syndrome.
If you know anything about Down syndrome, like, his patience and his attention
and he's got
level,
arthritis, and he's been sitting in the backseat of a van for 4, 5, 6 hours. So we gave up on that place. We are so angry. We call Airbnb and we explain to them what's happened, how frustrating this has been.
I think when we called, it was honestly like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We have been looking for a place to sleep since 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So now my mom's paying for another day on the car. And also, we have 100 pounds worth of food from Costco in the trunk that's been in there since 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we've had the heat on in the car and everything because it's a little bit chilly here.
In total, we talked to 3 people from Airbnb. The first person
hung up on, I think, twice.
The first person, because Anna's mom was clearly frustrated on the phone, but she wasn't yelling. She was just telling them the time that we've wasted, the money we've wasted.
Oh, and
everything.
At this point, my mom had to turn on the data on her phone, so we don't even know what her phone was going to be like. But no phone plan in the UK with a Canadian phone.
Because everything is booked in under her name and her account. So the only contact number they have is with Anna's mom.
So they're calling her.
So they're calling her.
When you book an Airbnb, the day of the reservation, your money is taken. So money has been taken off my mom's credit card.
For 2 places.
For both of the apartments now that we didn't even stay at.
Yeah.
So she needs to get her money back too. Even if they're not going to do anything for us, we need to get the money back and make sure they know what happened.
The first Airbnb person we were talking to, Anna's mom is explaining everything that we've lost, the time, the money, everything, and then she just hangs up on her. The Airbnb person hangs up on Anna's mom. Just hangs up. Like
the customer service person that's supposed to
mid-stride
deal with these
into
issues.
So we're like, okay, like, that's really, really professional.
Shocking, really.
So we have to call them back because, like, we're not done with them.
We need our money. We got to figure out where we're staying.
We're talking to the second Airbnb customer rep. We tell them the story about what happened, we just got hung up on, and we're saying we're done. Like, we don't want to stay in an Airbnb for the inconvenience that both of these locations have caused us.
We can't go through that again now.
Book us a hotel for the night.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we want. You're paying for it because this is...
We'd be in our Airbnb.
It's your fault. It's not your fault, but it is your fault at the same time. She says, okay, I'm going to try and find a hotel in this area. And we gave her some other area suggestions of where we wanted to stay. She says, I'll call you back. It's half an hour later. She hasn't called us back. By now, it's 10 o'clock.
We've got to put the kids to bed.
Honestly, this is ridiculous. We've got 3 children.
My grandparents.
Anna's grandparents and Anna's mom in a van we've already been in for 7 hours. And we still don't know where we're staying.
Well, we've like snacked and stuff, but like we haven't been out of the car really to go to the bathroom, to change the baby's bum, to eat dinner. Plus we're on vacation in London and we could have been sightseeing and going to all these places because we have 2 days left here and there's still so much that we wanted to get done.
Yeah.
So we completely lost our night of our trip, and it's expensive to go on these trips and do this kind of stuff, like to lose a day like that. But anyway, so this girl never calls us back.
So we call a third time. We're talking to this girl. We are so frustrated with Airbnb. We explain the whole story.
It was a really long conversation.
And you have to take care of this for us.
It sounds like a robot. They're saying the same thing over and over again as if they're reading lines. that they have in front of the telephone. Like, it's like a script. My mom's saying a bunch of different things and they're giving us the same response. It doesn't even really work for what my mom's saying. The voice even sounds robotic. And it got to the point, like, they weren't doing anything. They weren't gonna help get money back, weren't gonna help us find a place to stay for the night, all this stuff. It got to the point where my mom was so frustrated. Like, my mom was crying. Like, my mom was crying because she has to get her kids to bed.
All they were suggesting was, we're going to give you your money back for the 2 places that you booked that screwed you over.
They weren't going to give the money back to the credit card. The money was going to come back as a credit to use on Airbnb for our next rental. So they want you to still stay with them and still rent with them after we just had this horrible experience. So my mom's like, no, you're giving me my money back on my visa. Like, because we're done.
Getting a hotel, we're done with you. At this time, it's 10:30, we're in London, so we're like, no, we just want a hotel for 3 nights. So, long story short, about talking to customer service at Airbnb, they didn't do anything for us.
And we're not staying in an Airbnb right now, obviously. So my mom's short on her $2,000. She's lost her money that she had to use for them calling her on her phone.
Yeah.
We lost the money for the groceries. We lost 8 hours of our life that we'll never get back sitting in a car.
In London.
On a trip that we paid a lot of money to go on. Also, we tried so hard to get to talk to a supervisor or something, and they wouldn't. They refused. They wouldn't even answer really the question whether they had a supervisor or not. Like, we just couldn't get to that level. So we don't really know what's going on there in their office, but basically my mom just gave up. We're at a hotel now. We're gonna be here till we fly home, and once we get back home to Canada, my mom's gonna have to call again when she's not as frustrated and she's in the comfort of her home, and email. Like, I don't know what she's gonna have to do. We're gonna have to send in the pictures and the receipts, and we're gonna have to figure it out so she can get her money back. What we've been through today is pretty ridiculous.
Customer service people at Airbnb are trained to avoid paying for anything as much as possible. And you know what? They have a right to not just give in to, because they don't want people abusing them and scamming them.
To just continue to be robotic like that. Like, I don't know, I just think it was very impersonal, and it didn't help us at all. Obviously, we're staying in a hotel that we're paying for right now, even though $2,000 was already spent on places we didn't even stay in.
Airbnb, they need to have a more strict policy for,
like, people who are using their company. There's got to be quality control and customer service. They make their money. So if they want to have people that are going to use their website, that are going to use their service, like, they need to make sure that their customers on both ends are happy, because this can happen the other way around too, where a renter wrecks your apartment.
It's 1 in.the morning and we're about to go to bed, but we needed to share that.
We didn't get to the hotel till midnight. We hope that tomorrow we'll be better. Which I think it will be, because now we know where we're staying.
But we are in a super sweet hotel in a great location. We're close to the Eye, close to Westminster.
Exactly where we wanted to be.
We're close to Tower Bridge. We're exactly where we would want to be for our last 2 nights here.
But anyway, I just hope that my mom gets her money back.
We've
always loved Airbnb. I do want to say that. The last 2 places that we stayed at Airbnb were awesome. Like, they were so good.
They were
really
awesome.
Presented themselves well. Everything was good about them. Great hosts. And my mom owns 3 Airbnbs back in the city that we live in. We own an Airbnb. We love Airbnb.
Well, even though this was kind of a boring video, thank you for watching this video.
Still enjoying your trip.
We're still loving our trip. Today was crazy, but we really appreciate you watching our videos, and thank you to everybody who likes our videos, subscribes to our channel, and comments, and we look forward to making more videos with you.
Our next video will be of tomorrow's day on our trip, so we'll see you in that video. Good night.
Bye.
Okay, good night. Bye.